It's time now for the award-winning #1 local talk show in Northeast Pennsylvania, The Sam Lesante Show. Now here's your host, Sam Lesante.
So my good friends, they've been around for 150 years providing local news to the greater Hazleton area. The last 10 years they've been run by the Time Shamrock Group, and I'm talking about the Hazleton Standard Speaker. Interesting things, folks. We'll talk about the paper and the news and neighborhood news and all this stuff and what makes things click, okay? Sometimes we hear different things, but why is it so important today where the country is focusing on neighborhood news versus regional and national news? My guest today, no stranger to the Sam Lesante Show. In fact, he wants to take my show over, John Patton, who is the operations manager. You're not getting the show, John, okay?
Well, let's let the viewers decide.
We'll negotiate on that. Nice to have you on the show.
Thanks.
John.
Good to be here.
And once again, I want to thank you and the Time Shamrock Group and the Linettes and Haggertys for our media partnership. You know, it's been doing very well, and it's probably one of the only one of kind in the nation that I know of. Other than, are there any papers, national papers, that own television stations that we?
Yeah, I don't know the answer to that, but we were, if not, we're one of the first ones to do it. I mean, we've been doing it for quite some time, and again, it shows that you can work that if you're in your niches and where you provide your product, it can work, and I think we've shown that.
We had a discussion last week, a couple of weeks ago. We talked about our local programming, our local news, and then what the paper offers, and how the two sort of like complement each other, and why it's so involved. And this is no stranger. I mean, if people Google local neighborhood versus broadcast, the broadcast stations today are losing viewership. They've lost over 50. The network cable companies are losing. We've been very fortunate because people are watching more local neighborhood news like we have versus broadcast. And I'm not demeaning, I'm just in fact. So here's the Standard Speaker. So 150 years they've been around, okay? Now you've been with them how many years?
About 22.
Okay,
yeah.
So you've seen a lot of transitions.
Absolutely,
okay.
Yep.
And now you're celebrating your 10th anniversary with the Time Shamrock Group.
Yep.
Okay. Tell me about how you see the paper and what it means to the community.
Well, and again, I think that's a great question. And what happens is, we had a little bit of a glitch on Sunday night. We had our systems go down, and the paper looked a little differently than it had been. And the number of calls that we got, just trying to find out what was going on. And I think that told the story. And I think that's what we're looking for. I mean, obviously, we have we're part of a team that's the largest news team in northeastern Pennsylvania with the Time Shamrock Group. But locally is where we shine. I mean, again, everything that you could possibly want, at some point or another, you could find it in the paper. And that's where our focus is. Our focus is, the drums and the Hazel townships of the area, to be able to provide that information for people who need it. You're not going to find out, about a lot of the stuff that happens, no matter how many devices you have. You're not going to find it on, unless you're finding it through the Standard Speaker or through SSPTV. That's where you're going to find the local stuff. The national stuff you can see on TV, you can see it anywhere that you want. But the local stuff is only being provided by people who are willing to provide that information to the people who are looking for it.
Well, social media is like unbelievable because I'm sitting watching TV with my wife and she's on Facebook and things will pop up and she's telling me things that are happening in the area, before they, as they happen or after they happen. So the information is there. The niche is when you shows like this, giving information to people. Okay,
right.
Why is it important? Okay. When someone downsizes, I know when we made a change here and we had a full news department, etc. People thought that we were not going to be able to provide them with the information. Well, the fact of the matter is, we're providing them now more because of our affiliation with the Standard Speaker. Right. Okay, and you're able to bring information to people through our health shows or through your various articles that are written. You have the local content. Neighborhood news, I think, is, and everyone used the words local, okay? Right. Well, local could mean all of northeastern Pennsylvania. Sure. When we say local, we mean neighborhood news. We're talking, specific areas we're in. that we're, in Pottsville, we're talking about the district attorney, we're talking to the chamber there. In Scranton, we try to bring some things of value to them in local broadcasting. The paper does the same in your areas as well, right?
Oh, absolutely. And we have pages that are dedicated to the community. So we actually have a community editor. Then that's what you're looking for. So that kind of information, the information that we can either gather on our own, or information that's given to us by people who want to see it in the paper because they want to get it out to the audience that we serve. That's what we do. and so that's the kind of local news, regional news, whatever you want to call it. It's the neighborhood news. It's the guy in Sugarloaf who's looking to get some information out to the masses. He's going to the newspaper for it.
So tell me about your day, because people say to me, "Well, Sammy, what do you do there?" Well, I don't even want to be. So you're on top of everybody, right? You're in the news department,
Sure.
So what is your day like?
Well, again, the typical day is, there is no typical day. We'll have, it might be something in advertising, and it might be something in editorial, it might be somebody who needs some information. And, it's funny because I kid people and I'll say, I have 22 years of experience. I don't have 1 year 22 times. So in 22 years, I've learned a lot of stuff, and you try and apply it. So you have someone who comes in and needs something to get in the paper. Well, there's requirements. So you might sit down and explain to them why we have to do what we have to do. Like, we just can't run something in the paper because someone tells us to. We have to verify it, and some of those things, that's what it takes time. So some of those conversations I have are with people who don't understand when they want something in the paper, why we have to verify that information before we can run it. We are, we're a purveyor of news, but it's got to be, it's got to be news that people can trust. And I think that's what we've, over the 150 years, that's what we've given people, news that they can trust.
So now let me ask you this question, because we get, particularly I get it when I do the Sam Lesante shows. Is the paper biased? Do you have some reporters who are biased to the Republican Party, the Democrat Party, and so there'll always be a slant, and they always have things going, but how do you control that? Because everybody has an opinion. How do you control
Well, and I think that's interesting because when someone reports something that someone else doesn't like, it's because they're biased. Again, it's not we have editorial pages where we do that kind of stuff, but from the standpoint of the reporters, it's information that they've gathered that they report. And sometimes people don't like it, but it's not that we have people out there going, well, I'm only going to look for this type of news. Or we don't do that. But you could have people who look at that and say, well, that's what you do. Well, no, because there's other things in the paper on the other side that you're not looking at. So I think that's what happens. I think sometimes the bias is in the eyes of the reader and not of the people who are putting the news on the paper.
Now, I'm sure I'd probably go to Mark, Katchner, who is the managing editor, right? So, so he probably gets called and saying, this is not true, this is wrong, etc. How do you handle that when someone says that your paper is only for the Republicans, or your paper's only for the Democrats, okay?
Well, yeah, and you could go in and you could pick any day out, and you could show them, and I think that's what we've done in the past is, that sometimes that information, you need to just show people, over the course of a period of time, not just the course of a week, but over the course of an election or of a campaign, how both sides are being shown. But again, in a particular day's paper, it may seem that way. But when you look at the paper as a total, as a whole, you'll see that it's again fair and balanced, whatever you want to call it. But
well, I was just going to use that. Do you feel that the Standard Speaker is fair and balanced newspaper?
Absolutely, and I think you could look through it on any particular article or any particular day, and you could say, well, this is why it's not, and then someone else could say this is why it is. So when you're getting complaints from both sides of the aisle,
you're doing
something right.
Yeah, well, happens here with my show. If I have Lou Bartlett on a lot of times because he's our congressman, and I've always extended my invitation to Senator Casey and to the Congressman Cartwright. I do have my opinion, and however, I welcome their opinion.
Sure.
It's unfortunate that they don't reply to that, which means it tells me that there's some something that they don't want to be asked? That's only my question.
Right.
Because if your editor says, okay, Mr. Lesante, come on, give me your side. Right. But if you don't show up and you're complaining about it, okay, because I have people who are friends of Cartwright and Senator Casey who will say, well, you're picking on them. I'm not picking on them. I want them to come and face,
sure,
the fact. So, and you have that in the news media. But, people have to have trust. Okay, and I think you build that trust up. Am I correct in saying?
Oh, I agree. I absolutely. I think that is what we've worked for 150 years to obtain, and I think that people trust when they read in the paper. They trust that we've done our due diligence to make sure that what's in the paper is representative of what is actually happening.
Folks, I'm talking to John Patton, Operation Manager, Standard Speaker. We hear rumors sometimes where, if you lay a person off or if you're doing this, even in our station here, they're going out of business. They're not going to be in Hazleton anymore. Well, maybe that isn't the case. Maybe sometimes when you downsize, you get better. I don't know. We'll talk to John about that when we come back. Welcome back to the Sam Lesante Show, folks. Remember, 24/7, you get us on SSPTV.com. Now you can get us anywhere, any place, as well as on, if you don't have the internet with you, but you have your phone, download our app, SSPTV. Go Google Play or App Store. Download it. Everything is on here, plus live streaming. So we have friends in Florida. We have a lot of people in Florida who watch us, in California, people who moved, even in Afghanistan, listening to us, watching us on the app. My guest today is John Patton. He is the operation manager of the Standard Speaker, our media partners. So, John, we're talking about sometimes when you downsize or if you don't replace a person that's there, people get the impression that, well, we're going to get less value. Okay, address that.
Well, I think if you take our paper, for example, I mean, we're stronger now with the news team that we have in northeastern Pennsylvania than maybe you could even say 10 years ago. In 10 years ago, we had our concentration of our people was in Hazleton, and now we have people that span from the New York border to the Maryland border as far as where we can get our information from, and so that's what happened for us. I mean, it really has been a benefit for us to be able to get that information from all the sources that we have available to us. So again, it's anytime you talk about these things, I think if you look back, we go by page counts. I mean, we have 28, 32, 36 pages a day. You're getting a lot of value, for what you're paying, and you're getting a lot of information from multiple counties, and a lot of it is because of the news team that's available to the Standard Speaker. So we don't need to send someone to Scranton to cover something that may happen where it might be an hour drive up and then you got to cover the event and it's an hour drive back, and maybe that person in an 8-hour period was able to do one or two different things. Now that information is being covered by somebody on our news team at the Scranton Times or at the Citizens Voice, and that information comes to us and we get the same quality coverage that we were having to spend 3 or 4 hours. We're now getting it in 3 or 4 minutes.
Yes, that's amazing. Now, what is the cost of the Standard Speaker?
To buy the paper?
Yeah.
$1.
And you have deals going?
Yeah, again, I mean, that's $1 on the newsstand. I mean, the home delivery price is cheaper there. So yeah.
What's your best deal?
Yeah, again, I mean, I would tell you it's probably, I'm not sure, because they run different deals at different times.
$5 a week?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I mean, you could probably do that.
I'm asking for a reason.
Right.
You and
I know exactly where you're going with this. Go right ahead. We talk about it all the time, and I love it.
Guess what? It's like amazing to me. Even if you don't read the paper, you get the paper. My wife and I, we shop together. And I get the coupons out of your paper on Sundays and during the week, and just for the hell of it, I just said, let me try. Where we're shopping. I'm not going to say where,
right.
Because they don't advertise with me. But if they did, I would say where. Am I being selfish? But that's the way it is. We do sell advertising, okay? But I gave them the coupons, right? We saved, I think it was like $13.50 some cents, okay? And that next week before that, I saved $5, okay? So I figured out one month how much we saved, okay? We saved like about $60. And I think, well, wait a minute. I made an investment, if it's 20,
Right?
I mean, it's crazy.
Yep.
I think you alluded to that a couple times.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, I've had people who started out getting our paper, maybe buying it on the newsstand or whatever, and just sent me a we got a check today for $219 or whatever it was, and and when I asked the question, it's like, well, I save more than that every week. I mean, because it's not just the Sunday coupons, it's all the other stuff that's in the paper during the course of the week. So this person was only getting it Saturday and Sunday originally and expanded the coverage because they said, hey, we want to get all the other stuff that's available to us, because there's no way, if you want to, that you can't make money buying the Standard Speaker. You're going to make money if you buy it.
It's like amazing, It's like, well, the reward we get is when a lady comes up to me and says, Sam, I was watching your show on health, and you were talking about this. I went for my checkup. The doctor said, thank God you came in here. If you would have waited longer, you would have not been able to. He was like third stage cancer or whatever, and because of our show. So you're bringing local, this is where this value comes in, okay? Sometimes people don't like what you have to say, et cetera.
Sure.
But, but that's, is interesting. You're making money. It's an investment.
Right. And again, I mean, it's not just the coupons. I mean, it's any of the circulars that are, you go someplace and you go, oh, they're 10% off today, and you go up there and how much can you save? So again, it's an investment on one side, but certainly it's got all the news you want as well. So it's interesting when people say that to me, that they, just like you, because you're not the only one who says that. I mean, it is for them. It is Sundays or whatever it is. It's a day for them to make money.
I'm telling you. So people say, "You damn right, I use the coupons." I mean, I just saved $60 last month. Okay, now. The job fair, okay? Every year you guys do the job fair, which I think is fabulous, because people think they can't get work, and they go to these places and there's tons of jobs available. I don't know why there are people just sitting on their fannies and not going to get a job, living off the fat of the land. I get frustrated with that, because if you're capable of working, please work, okay? If you're not, that's what we're there to help you.
Sure.
Let's talk about the job fair.
Sure. It's our 6th one. It's going to be up at Penn State Hazleton again. It was such a great turnout last year.
It was jammed.
Yeah, and it was a great venue. And school's out for them, so the parking is plentiful. There's never a problem there. But yeah, so we're going to have, there'll be a lot of vendors there, a lot of jobs available, from people who are looking to, maybe get in on the ground floor, to maybe some of the upper level management jobs that are available that people are looking for. So, and again, from the standpoint of, we understand that there are people who are out of work. This is a place to get you seen in front of a lot of people. So if you're looking for a job, maybe you don't have a job, maybe you have a job you don't like, and maybe you just have a job that you like and you go, well, let me just see what else is out there. So, all those are opportunities to come up, and you put your name in, chance to win $100. So.
$100 for the day?
It's $100 will be given away every hour.
Okay.
We give $100 away every hour, and so it's again.
So what they should do is,
it could make money looking for a job.
You go in, you sign, you stay an hour, go back, come in, sign, and get. So it's May 17th.
May 17th. Yep.
10 to 4 p.m. at the Penn State campus here. Okay. So now there's areas there that are available, like healthcare, okay, logistics, manufacturing, education. What do you mean when you say health? I mean these specific areas.
Well, what happens is there are different companies that come up, and they have jobs in those fields that are available to they might be a nursing or something like that. We're still signing people up. So that list may expand.
Who do you have so far?
Well, we have, and I don't have the list with me, and I meant to bring that, and I apologize for that. I meant to bring that with me.
See, folks, if he was on TV, he'd be prepared.
Right,
okay,
and I thought we were talking about the anniversary show, and now we're talking about the job fair, and that's the way I like when on your show you get to cover a lot of topics. We have a lot of people that come back, year after year, because they're successful getting the jobs, and they're always looking for jobs.
The reason why I said healthcare, because that's exploding.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay, it's exploding, and there's a lot of opportunities for people in healthcare. Okay.
Well, and I think people think of healthcare as like hospitals, but they're all ancillary healthcare. Where it might be a home health or home, maybe aids or something like that are also available. And
there's jobs in many entry level to experience. Okay. When we come back, folks, I'm going to tell you actually a typical day, and the 10th year anniversary. Okay, as is going well. It's growing. You're with the largest time Shamrock group. I really enjoyed. We are enjoying our relationship with the Linettes and the Haggerty. In fact, some of them are good friends of mine. Okay, We just wish you the best. We'll hopefully continue to we can get better on a weekly basis. Folks, John Patton, Operation Manager of the Standard Speaker. Come back and talk a little more about the job fair. Great opportunity for you, folks, to maybe move up or get a job or just to see what's going on. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back to the Sam Lesante Show, folks. And folks, remember, if you have friends in Pottsville, we're on Channel 190 Monday, every day of the week in Pottsville on Channel 190, in the Wilkes-Barre, Kingston, Mountaintop area, Channel 92 on Saturday and Sunday evenings from 7 to 11, and in Lackawanna County on Channel 190 Saturday and Sunday mornings from 8 to 12 p.m. My guest today is John Patton, who is the Operation Manager of the Standard Speaker, celebrating the 10th anniversary with the Lionettes, right, and the Haggertys, okay? Yep. And you said with the opportunity that you now have hands-on on every area because you have reporters in those areas and you get information within 3 minutes.
Absolutely, yeah. And again, if there's something that's going on, that maybe it's something that involves someone from Hazleton, we can just call up there and say, hey, listen, we need help on this. And again, it's a great ability to have that type of relationship. Okay. And that reach.
So the question is, and I talked about this at the beginning of the show, okay, when people say television, well, we know broadcast television, the viewership is decreasing immensely. Network cables, but neighborhood, local shows like TV shows, thank God, are growing. Now, when people say about papers, oh, there won't be a paper around, the demise of the papers, okay, same scenario we're in with neighborhood, once again, how do you react to that?
Well, I think, again, you go to anybody who buys a paper who has their kid's picture in the paper, they'll know how important it is. There's always going to be that importance. And you talked about SSPTV being on an app, or that all that information is available to Standard Speaker as well. So again, we have that worldwide reach. I mean, we have people. You were talking about that. We have. I got an email from somebody in Italy, about something that was in our paper. Yeah.
So my relatives in Italy watch.
And we have a gentleman by the name of Mike Apicella who actually lives in Europe, and he actually writes for our paper, and it's again the information. So we have that. Yeah, we're not going away. I mean, we're going. You can get what we have in different forms, but there's always going to be a Standard Speaker to provide that information for you.
So next Wednesday, May 17, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. is your annual job fair, okay? Yep. So when I mentioned before, there are some people that may have jobs that maybe they want to see if they want to maybe get something entry level, or they want to better themselves. Right. There's all these opportunities. How many vendors do you think you'll have there?
Well, we'll have in excess of 40, 50 vendors there. I mean, that's what we had last year, so that's where our goal is. I mean, we're still signing people up. So, that's the kind of thing that you're right, that when you have that diverse of a group in one place, and that's what we saw the need for. We saw the need to put all those people in one place. You could not go to see 30, 40, 50 different vendors. Exactly. You just don't have the time. No. Now you can go in and you can pick and choose the ones you want, and then it might be a 5-minute conversation with someone that you had no thought about even talking to about a job, and you end up with a job because they're looking for you and you're looking for them, and we put them together.
I got to tell you, I didn't believe what you said when Paul Ross and you were running this, and when I went up to the one job fair and you said, Sammy, sometimes they come in and they get a job right in spot. I was up there that day, if you recall. And I'm seeing guys coming out and just got I signed up for a job, etc. And they said, well, they really does, other than looking, right? But they're actually signing people up that day,
right? Because it's important to them. I mean, if you're an HR person and you need to fill a job, I mean, you want to fill it, you know. So if you get that information, that timing, instead of looking through 50 resumes, if you can get 50 people to come up and you can meet them in person, and you go, okay, well, this is one person I want to talk to, that the opportunity to get hired on the spot is there.
Well, that's terrific. Once again, it's like the cable company, Service Electric Cablevision. They provide so much, okay, to the community, okay. And I have a problem with DirecTV and satellite. I think I talked to you about this. I have a problem with it because these people who are on DirecTV are not participating with the franchise fees, for the cities. And I think it's unfair that a person's on cable, part of their fee is being invested into their cities, so we can have better roads, etc. People of DirecTVs are giving nothing in terms of participating, okay? I'm hoping that's going to change someday. That's my opinion. Yes, I'm being selfish because we're on cable, but we're also on apps and on the website. Right. But Service Electric Cablevision have contributed so much to the area here with their people who are employees, etc. And I think it's if you're going to go DirecTV, and why you go DirecTV, I have no idea, because what they have available now, and I'm involved with it, is much better deal for a person to be back on cable. But that's my that's a fact. I mean, I'm not just telling you.
That's your editorial.
That's my editorial for the day. It's the truth. I mean, really, it is the truth. I don't think you should. People who have DirecTV are not paying nothing to contribute to the city. That's my opinion. You don't have to say that because John Patton said he agreed with Sam Lesante. Hey, it's always nice to have you on the show, John.
Great to be here. Thanks.
I miss Paul Ross. I miss him because he always made the show better. Okay,
well,
but we'll settle with you. Tell Paul I said hi.
I will,
folks. Standard Speaker. If you don't have it, get it because the coupons alone is it's an investment. You're going to make money. Thanks for tuning us in on the Sam Lesante Show.